This is First Thessalonians chapter 5 and verse 3. For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. First and foremost, before I get started, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rachah HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who taught me this truth and rule well. Peace and blessings unto the hopeful elect, pushing his word throughout the four corners of the earth in truth, righteousness, and sincerity. To you I say Shalom. This is Brother Yeshaya coming at you again through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. And this lesson is going to be entitled, Then Sudden Destruction. Okay? And I'm going to play this video real quick, and we'll get some precepts. And Lord willing, this will be edifying.
Before we begin, I'm proud to report that our country is safer, stronger, and far wealthier than it has ever been before. We are doing great. Less than 2 years ago, we inherited an economic and social disaster. After the worst inflation in 48 years, the wide open borders with millions and millions of people pouring in from all over the world, including criminals of all types, and 11,888 murderers, many of whom killed more than one person. We had transgender for everybody, men and women sports, crime ravaging our cities, and the whole world was laughing at us as a nation, but not anymore. 2 years ago, our country was dead. Now we are the hottest country anywhere in the world. America is respected like we have never been respected before. We have more money being invested in the United States than at any time in the history of our country. More Americans are working today than ever before. This week it was announced that inflation saw the largest monthly decline in more than 6 years. Just happened. It was just given out. The media reported it, and we accept it. The best in 6 years. The tax cuts in our great, big, beautiful bill are saving hardworking families thousands and thousands of dollars, like with the provisions, no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security for our great seniors, along with the interest deduction on a loan used to purchase a car, but only if that car is made in America, and a 100% expensing for our job-creating businesses. Our stock markets are at their highest point in many years, but we can actually say of all time. And your 401ks, pensions, and retirement accounts are setting records every single day, the highest in history. For years, we paid the highest price for prescription drugs anywhere in the world. Now we pay the lowest price under my most favored nation's policy because I was able to get the rest of the world and the pharmaceutical companies to act responsibly. Drug prices are coming down by 70, 80, and 90%. TrumpRx.gov, this will ultimately reduce the cost of health care. You have to go to TrumpRx.gov and take advantage of it. But the cost of health care is coming way down because of what we've done with prescription drugs. And with Trump accounts, every child in America now has access to a tax-free investment account to save for their future. Billions and billions of dollars are being invested, put in by companies and individuals to take care of our children so that at age 18, they will have potentially hundreds of thousands of dollars in their account, and they'll get off to a great start in life. So for that, go to TrumpAccounts.gov and sign up your child or any child who'd like to sign up. Our previously wide open borders have been transformed into the most secure borders in the history of our country, with 0 illegal aliens being admitted to the United States in the past 14 months. That is zero. Nobody thought it was possible. We had the worst border in the history of our country, and now we have the best. Crime is plummeting nationwide with the murder rate at its lowest level since 1900, or more than 125 years ago. We're making a record investment in our armed forces, and we have the strongest and most powerful military by far anywhere in the world. I built it during my first term, and unfortunately, we're forced to use it now. We won in Venezuela, which is now working with us to produce millions and millions of barrels of oil. We are likewise winning big in Iran, and you will see the fruits of that labor very, very shortly. America is back and doing really well, but we still have a major challenge that must be urgently addressed because no country can be great without fair and honest elections. You have to trust your country because if they can.
All right. So you heard him, right? Everything that he's been saying after all the shit that's been going on, all the, the crisis this and crisis that, war this and war that, right? The talks of famine, talks of droughts, natural disasters, earthquakes popping up all over the world. But we all good here, right? Everything is all good. America's back and better than ever, according to Donald Trump. You see, this is that right there embodies this verse right here. 1 Thessalonians 5:3, right? I'm gonna read it again. For when they shall say peace and safety, right? Isn't that what Donald Trump is saying? We good, right? America, is the most debt it's ever been. I don't even know how much it is at now. Over 30 or something $1 trillion. The interest alone is $1 trillion a year. People can't afford, house payments, car payments. People's credit loans and credit cards are all maxed out. Can't pay them back. People ain't even willing to pay them back because how much they're struggling. Food is going up in price. Gas is going up in price. Most people can't even see the end of this, which there isn't going to be no end of this. The end of America is going to be, or I should say, the end of everybody's troubles is going to happen once this place is destroyed. Right? Yeah, at that point, you ain't going to have no more, you ain't got to deal with none of the bullshit you got to deal with now. Now, the heathen, they're going to prepare for slavery, right? But, again, like I said, all this that they're doing, or Donald Trump is saying, Donald Trump is pushing out, is that again, just peace and safety. That everything is all right, everything is all good, don't worry about it. But like I said, yeah, everybody is struggling. More homeless people than ever. But we understand what's going on. Esau is just trying to push that vibration out there of, there's hope. We good. Quelling the people back to sleep. Just to set people up for the okie doke. Because what's coming, it ain't going to be no light thing. It ain't going to be no small matter. This whole war with Ukraine, not Ukraine, war with Iran, that shit can intensify. It might be boots on the ground. They already have the national selected service. I think for people to be drafted coming out in December. When you automatically are enrolled in that thing. People investing more and more money in this AI and in really in profiteering off of this war. So really the time and season that we're living in is a time of war, it's a time of hate, it's a time of destruction, it's a time of death. But your leaders are pushing this notion that everything is all good. So as it says, for when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them. Sudden destruction, man. People are about to be taken, for taken on a goddamn roller coaster ride. And it ain't gonna be fun. What's coming, this righteous judgment that the Lord has prepared, is gonna come swiftly upon you people. All those who ain't watching, all those who ain't who have misused the prophets, right? 2/3 and the rest of the heathen, they're about to face severe, harsh punishment. All right. But your leaders continue to push this, like I said, this notion of everything's good, everything's okay, trying to quell you back to sleep. But this shit is over. America's done. America's finished. There's nothing left for this place. Now all we're seeing right now is the pride of these people, kind of reaching a point where um, it's almost it's pretty much delusional, right? When you go into Revelation 18 and verse 7, it says, as a matter of fact, I'll read verse 6. Reward her even as she rewarded you, and double. As a matter of fact, let me go more up. Salakia. Revelation 18 and 4. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues. See? Because what are the plagues? What's the main last plague that's about to hit this place? The ICBM missiles, right? Now the Lord's going to take out his elect from the planet Earth so they can be delivered and preserved from that destruction, right? And it says, for her sins have reached unto heaven, and the Most High has remembered her iniquities, right? From all the Moism, right? The whoremongering, the greed, the uh, just the whole, just everything about America is just wicked as hell, man. And the Most High seeing this, the angels and everything is being recorded, man. They are recording everything that's going on, and now is the time that this place has met its peak, its ripeness for judgment, as it says. Oh, and it says, for her sins have reached unto heaven, and the Most High have remembered her iniquities. Reward her, even as she rewarded you, and double unto her, double according to her works, and the cup which she had filled, fill to her double. Right? How much she had glorified herself and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her. For she saith in her heart, I sit a queen and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. So this is what they're saying, right? Let me read this in the NLT. It says she glorified herself and lived in luxury, right? America, right? The center of commerce, trade, goods, the richest country on the planet, the strongest nation country on the planet, right? It says so match it now with torment and sorrow, right? So now it's gonna be matched with torment and sorrow. She boasted in her heart, right? And isn't that what Donald Trump is boasting? He's boasting, man. He's boasting at the fact that, they're locking up you Jakes, right? Deporting y'all, throwing y'all into these, concentration camps or ICE camps, glorifying and, the NWO, and trying to make everything, white again, white supremacy. That's essentially what Donald Trump is pushing. He's a great white hope for these Edomites, but he ain't gonna accomplish nothing. He ain't gonna change nothing. He ain't gonna stop prophecy. Prophecy is gonna accomplish what the Most High wants it to accomplish, and that's the destruction of this place, of this wicked ass kingdom, right? But like I said, hey, peace and safety, right? They were talking about peace and safety, but that sudden destruction is about to come, and they know it. These Edomites know it, right? When you read the book of James, James 2:19, it says, "Thou believest, thou believest that there is one God. Thou doest well. The devils also believe and tremble." See, so they know. They they know who the Lord is, who Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shah is, who the God of the Bible is. Everything they do is try to rebel against them, right? What do our apostles always say? To tell a lie, you gotta know the truth. So Esau knows things have been revealed to him, right? The scriptures talk about how his heart is deep, right? He accomplished a diligent search, right? So he knows things. The Most High revealed things to him through his, he does it through his left hand means, but you know, through that he was being allowed to see things, to know different things. And then one of the things that they understand is that the, their end is inevitable, and it's here. He's living his last days as the ruler of the planet Earth, and he knows it. Right now, all they're doing is putting on his face because they understand that the Lord is on his way back, and that's the reason why they're out here building doomsday bunkers. They're over here, setting certain provisions to go into outer space, and what I'm saying, having underwater cities, all these preparation. But all this is written about in the scriptures, right? Revelation 6:14, that you will do these things. Revelation 6:14, and the heaven departed as a scroll when it is rolled together, and every mountain and island were moved out of their places. Hold on, wait. Um, yeah, I'll just continue reading down. Verse 15. And the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, and every bondman, and every free man hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains. So what's this talking about? It said the kings, great men, rich men, chief, captains, mighty men, bondmen, freemen. It says they hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains. What's this talking about? It's talking about them dumbs, right? Them doomsday bunkers. I forgot what dumb means. Deep underground military base or something like that, right? And they have them all over. I mean, those that have them here in America, they're stupid because none of that's going to protect you. They're just going to be cooking up in there like a turkey in a fucking oven. But for all these other people that are building their bunkers out there in Switzerland and in New Zealand and Finland and Denmark, all these different places, they're doing that because they understand that if their enterprise, their agenda, their plans, whatever they have planned on doing fails, that they have a a plan B to try to escape judgment. But there ain't no escaping. The Most High got you in a trick bag. The Most High made it to where you're gonna do this, what you're doing right now, pushing yourself out there, to be this lofty guy, thinking you have it all down, telling the people, everything is good, everything is all right. When really, you're fumbling. The top elite best believe they're having cold sweats, they're scared, they're terrified. That's why everything is moving in a rapid pace. They're moving in haste to try to get everything in place, all their ducks in a row, everything lined up to where they can accomplish what they think will be, I guess you could say, their saving grace, their opportunity to escape control from the Lord, right? And as a matter of fact, that's in Psalm 2. This is Psalms 2 and verse 1. Why did the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing? The kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together against the Lord, Yahweh, and against his anointed, saying, let us break their bands asunder and cast away their cords from us. Right? So when you read this in the NLT, starting at verse, I just started at the top. It says, verse 1, why are the nations so angry, and why do they waste their time with futile plans? The kings of the earth prepare for battle. The rulers plot together against the Lord Yahweh and against his anointed one. Let us break their chains, they cry, and free ourselves from slavery to God. So this is what they're trying to do. They're trying to break away from under the Lord. They want to be the Most High. Verse 4, but the one who rules in, this is in NLT, by the way, but the one who rules in the heaven laughs, and the Lord scoffs at them. That's right, man. Like I said, he got you in a trick bag. Everything that you're doing is written that you will do it, and you just following suit, just like the rest of us. Nothing is out of the domain of the Lord. The Lord controls everything, right? So get ready for that destruction. Get ready for that, that sudden destruction, as the scripture says, sudden destruction. Right? You're playing a video game, you have sudden death. And all it takes is one hit. Well, that's how it's gonna be. Yahweh Shai is gonna come, boom, one blow, take this place out. Right? Scriptures talk about in 1 hour this place is gonna go. Talking about talk about sudden destruction. God damn. But anyway, I don't want to continue. I don't want to. That's pretty much all I have. Pretty much, I don't want to continue ranting. So with that, I'm gonna go ahead and close it up by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai Ba'Hashem, Rachak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who taught me this truth and rule well. Peace and blessings unto the hopeful elect, pushing his word throughout the four corners of the earth in truth, righteousness, and sincerity. Until the next time, I'm gonna say Shalom, Kwam Yashala.